What's up, everybody? It's a great Wednesday evening, and man, do we got a doozy for you today. It's going to be a fun one, man. Anytime you can talk to, well, I'm going to say legends and being able to talk about our great university, university football, University of Alabama football, and just the world of broadcasting that a lot of us like to be in, and what does that feel like? So, today, as you guys have seen in the post and all this kind of stuff, we got a very special guest who I will officially introduce a little bit later. But I do need to go ahead and remind everybody, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give us a like, go ahead and tweet out, let everybody know where we're at, what's going on, because we're going to dive into the world of Alabama football. We will not be showing any film today, Roll Tide Christian. We're going to do strictly an interview and talking. The next week, we'll dive back into the film. Okay. So if you're asking or you're thinking about it, that's what we're going to do. So without further ado, we'd like to go ahead and get this party started. Let's go. All right, the official welcome is here. We are now officially live with Teague's Take. Roll Tide, everybody that's in the house. It's going to be a good one. What's up, cuz? Man, I'm excited about this today, but I need to go ahead and give y'all a quick run out because something happened to me today, and y'all know I like to be able to talk about a few little things. And this just happened like 2 hours ago. And it's really for me to say, hey, what do you do when you have the opportunity to be able to help somebody? What are the dangers and all this kind of stuff? So I was leaving from a sports bar actually, and there was a car pulled over outside. There's a young gentleman sitting on the curb, lights flashing. He had a big little tank, just kind of sitting by him. And oftentimes when I'm going by, people, I don't always stop or give money or food or something. And there was just something in my spirit today that said, "Hey, just roll down your window and ask them if they're okay." And I did. It was dark outside too, right? And so the guy says, "Hey, I'm just kind of down on my luck. I ran out of gas. Uh, I don't have any money, and I don't know what to do." That kind of thing. So the first thing I did, well, like I said, I don't always do it. I reached in my pocket, I pulled out a $10 bill and I handed it to him. Said, "Go get yourself some gas," right? And as he was starting to walk away, he was very thankful in this kind of stuff. And then I thought, and this is where maybe where it gets a little dangerous, right? I thought, well, maybe I can take him to the gas station because the gas station ain't that close. I said, "Hey man, you want to ride up there?" And he's like, "Oh my gosh, thank you." Now in this 5 minute trip that I had with him, yes, anything could have happened, right? um, but I learned a lot in there because we started talking about life. He started talking about his struggles, and we actually started talking about paying for it. He was saying, I only had $30 in my pocket. This is what he said, and he gave 15 of it away to someone else who was stranded. So he was thankful and just saying, "Man, see, this is what happened when you pay things forward." So, what am I saying? What am I encouraging? Hey, we always got to be safe. We got to understand things. But when that spirit hits you and you got the opportunity to help some people, don't miss it because you don't know what kind of blessing you're going to give somebody or you don't know what's going to come back to you. And that's my run out for today. So I need to go ahead and bring in my man, the extraordinaire, the analytical one, the man behind everything that you've seen on the screen, my son, James Teague is in
Oh,
the
you hit the button this
house.
time. I was like,
I
hold on,
got
I
it
didn't do
for
it.
you. I got it for you, baby. I'm up my game over here, JT. I got this. I got horns. I got claps. Yes, sir, Kat. Thank you too, and thank you, Kat, for all of your support and being able to talk to us about this. So, JT, I'm going to ask you one question because I want to get to our guests. Have you ever tried any of the pay it forward stuff? I'm just curious. When you're sitting at McDonald's drive-through and you be like, "Hey, let me pay for that meal behind us," or have you been sitting at the restaurant with Emily and the kids? And you be like, "Hey, man, let me get that table." Have you ever indulged in it at all? No, no right or wrong or bad. Just
Um,
just curious.
not particularly like that. I have. I am definitely more likely to help somebody out when they ask me for something specific. Does that make sense? So I can think of two things. One of them, I was walking back. Um, I think it was from practice, and I was walking back into the dorm, and there was some lady that was standing on the sidewalk, and she asked me to help her get some food. Well, first she asked me for cash,
Yes.
and I was like, "Well, I don't have
Okay.
cash anyway, so no, I can't help you there." And she was like, "Well, can you help me get some food?" I goes, sure. So we went around to the sandwich shop, and um, she asked, like, what can I get off the menu? Basically, just say, well, what can I get? And I was like, just the sandwich shop, just get whatever you want. I don't. The most the sandwich in there was going to be $10 plus some tax. So I just told her to get whatever she wanted. So got her a sandwich. And then there was one the other day. I was at the gas station up the street from my house, and I was just getting a couple bags of ice. So I ran into the gas station, asked the guy for a couple bags of ice, and this guy walks in. And he's probably a teenager, and he goes to the back of the store, and there was one box of 2 Hot Pockets left, and he walked up behind me, and he was like, "Hey, just my mom and I are hungry, and we just need something to eat. Would you mind getting this box of Hot Pockets?" And of course, it was $3. It was sure. Put it up there. Got him the Hot Pockets, and I think I was actually with Dave, and we got in the truck, and it's almost like he just kind of disappeared. Like I have no idea where he went after that, but it's just kind of the one of those things. You're like, was that a test? Like, was somebody testing me to see
Uh,
if?
you might have showed up on one of the TV shows. Like, hey, how do you help people? But
But
that's
yeah,
good
so
to
I
hear,
mean, it's
man.
like if you just for me, like if you ask me for something specific, and I don't, and it's not necessarily that it has to be convenient, but um, I'm always I'm more leery about somebody just walking up to me and asking me for money versus somebody asking me to do a specific thing. Can you buy me this sandwich or these Hot Pockets or help me with getting gas in the car? And it does come back around because when we left your house after Thanksgiving, and we went to Emily's sister's house, and then we were the ones stuck at the gas station. I stopped to get some gas, but the battery died, and me, Emily, and the kids were in the car and needed somebody to help us jump the car. And I had to ask some random dude. It's like, hey, I have jumper cables. When you're done pumping your gas, will you just give us a quick jump so I can get my family home? And he did, and we got home and then took care of it after that. So, um,
Nice, nice. Well, thanks for sharing the good message. As we head into the Christmas holidays, and we're spending time. It's always sometimes it is about giving, but really Christmas is about is receiving. So accept your gifts when people try to give um, to you. All right, so I want to go ahead and introduce our guest, man. I'm excited about this one, JT. Right, so our guest, man, is no stranger to the Christmas Tide Network. A lot of people know exactly who he is, but he's called Alabama baseball for 24 years. Has been play-by-play announcer for the Alabama basketball team for 22 years. During the 2022 football season, our guest filled in for Eli Gold, one of the legendary broadcasters for the Alabama football. But in addition to these roles, our guest serves as the television host of the Kalen DeBoer Show and the Nate Oates Show. Our guest spent 8 seasons as a radio announcer for Birmingham Southern College, has extensive TV experience, including stints broadcast platforms covering high school, college football, basketball, baseball, soccer, and volleyball. He's been honored with the University of Montevallo 2009 Alumni Achievement Award and was a 2021 inductee into the UM Athletics Hall of Fame. 6 times he has been named to the Alabama Sports, been named the Alabama Sportscaster of the Year by the National Sports Media Association. And I almost thought I was going to have a chance to work with this guy. Well, y'all please welcome in Chris Stewart.
Sounds like a lot of.
Oh, that's not the one I wanted.
Yeah, my man.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Y'all
Yeah.
calm down back there. Y'all calm down. Y'all calm down. Y'all calm down.
Hey,
Yeah.
man, thanks for coming in, man. We do appreciate you very much for giving us a little bit of time.
No, I just appreciate you asking, George. I'm flattered. And yeah, I was hoping we were gonna get to work together too. It's we've had a lot of fun with D Square, but it would have been it'd have been fun to get a chance to work with you on Saturdays, and never know how it's going to work out down the road. But man, it was flattering when I got the call from you to do this today, and great to meet James and be a part of this with you guys. It's really cool what you built, and the fact you get to do it with family. And I'm really impressed with the setup and the way this thing looks, and I'm gonna try not to mess it up for you. I got a good thing going.
Well,
Appreciate it.
we do appreciate it, and I will say, if you would have seen us last year, you might have thought we were a little generic.
Yeah, that is true.
Like, what are they
had a little
doing
bit of
over
a
here?
blow
man? Yeah, but
You're good. You're good.
So we thank our fans and viewers and listeners. Thank you all for making us what we are today, and all the support that you have. And so I want to talk about that because just real briefly, most people don't know. Had the opportunity to perhaps be a sideline reporter or analyst, I guess, with the University of Alabama. Things come up. You guys know I've been dibbling and dabbling in this broadcasting deal, working with CBS and doing other things. And when I had the opportunity just to even give it a shot, it was very exciting to me. There's a lot of hurdles and all those kind of things, but y'all know how I love Alabama sports anyway, and football. So I didn't get the opportunity. It's no love lost at all for me, because it would have been difficult to flying in from Dallas all the time to everywhere. But it would have been great for this other career that I'm trying to start. So I kind of want to ask you about that. A lot of us just start like this. This has not been my path,
Yeah.
trying to do media or podcasting. But how'd you get involved with Alabama football, and what drew you to Alabama, the Crimson Tide?
Man, I can't believe I get to do it, George. I grew up in Fairfield, about 45 minutes to an hour from Tuscaloosa, and Alabama fan. Jim Fuller was on staff when you played at Alabama, wasn't he?
Yes.
Wasn't Coach Fuller the line coach? All right, so he's from Fairfield, and actually coached my brother. I got a brother that's 19 years older than I am, and Coach Fuller was played at Fairfield, coached at Fairfield, and a lot of my family Bama fans, and so I grew up a Bama fan as well, and started college at Montevallo, fell in love with it. Got to do a ton of high school football in the area, and then local cable access. When I got out of school, I was doing over the mountain games. There was a channel called Alabama Cable Network, and it was back in the day when all these different cable systems had their local community channel, and a man named Don Early basically managed these little channels in all these different markets around the state of Alabama. And after doing high school football for years, he got an opportunity. Nobody was doing it. And he gets Alabama, Auburn, UAB, and then Troy, and I think Jacksonville State did it as well. Gave him the opportunity to say, hey, let us do your games, and we'll do our own broadcast, and then we'll run it. We're not trying to do it live. We just want to run it another night during the week. And people thought he was crazy, because they thought, sure, go ahead. Nobody's going to want to do that. Well, how much of ESPN's programming now is reruns, on their platform, games that are rebroadcast, shows that are rebroadcast. So it was really kind of ahead of its time to do something like that. And I was doing um, a lot of different sports on their channel, and got the opportunity to work with David Crane, who is an Alabama grad, and was doing things with the Alabama. I think it was called the Alabama Football Network, and then it had switched. Learfield got the rights, and it became the Crimson Tide Sports Network. And David and I worked together on those cable broadcasts, football, basketball. Um, I got to do a lot of play-by-play with that while I was still doing Birmingham Southern radio, but I would do some of the home games, men's and women's hoops, baseball. The next year, I got started with him on the baseball radio network, working alongside David. And then 3 years later, they offered me the basketball play-by-play job for the men on radio. And that's what got me in the door in a big way with Alabama. And I was working a little bit with football side of it, doing pre or post game. And then those cable broadcasts, those tape delay broadcasts really got me involved with football. And it was it was not only the tape delay, but also the pay-per-view. We'd have a couple of those a year, and that's what got me in the door. Other sports on radio, and really football on tape delay and pay-per-view. And David gets the radio job at UAB to be the voice of the Blazers, right as Nick Saban becomes the head coach at Alabama. And so I got to slide over and do the play-by-play on those TV broadcasts, whether it was the replays or pay-per-view. And from there, I guess it was about 3 years after that, they made me the sideline reporter as well. So many opportunities that I've been really fortunate, different dominoes that have kind of fallen over in my life, one falling into the other.
Yep.
Which led to me doing the play-by-play full-time this year. I shared the duties with Eli last year. They gave me the job on a full-time basis this year, and I'm really fortunate.
Okay, well, that's awesome, man. Thank you for sharing that. And I see the questions are rolling in. Y'all keep putting them in over there. I know JT's kind of queuing up because I have a couple other questions I need to make sure I ask them from my side that I think would be interesting
Sure.
as well. So keep putting those in the chat as JT has typed in there because we got him for a little while. So we want to be able to try to get your guys' questions answered as well. We do welcome super chats. Don't forget to subscribe. Have people go ahead and let them know we're on here because this is going to be great. Now, I've already seen some of the people in here that are run their own. So just so the listeners are knowing, I need to ask one or two questions before we get to football about this broadcasting, podcasting type of world first. Okay. So I want you guys to know what I'm doing here. And then we'll dive into the questions about football, which I know we're all dying to get. But if there's any kind of information he can help us with on this side, I want to know. Because see, me and JT, we're a teaching platform. All right. So most of the time we're talking about coaching and how do you run a play, what does practice look like, and all this kind of stuff. So I don't think most of us really know what happens with analysts or play-by-play stuff. What really happens? How do you get ready for a game? You're sitting there all week. What do you do? Give us a
It's
couple
pretty
steps.
cool, but from my standpoint, it how I would prepare for it, George, is different than you would in your role. If you were the analyst, you were the color analyst or the sideline reporter, we're going to probably prepare a little bit differently. There's some general game stuff we're going to try to read to learn and catch up with what's going on with teams themselves. But for me, there's study going on of rosters, trying to make sure I can identify players pretty quickly. And I got the best spotter in the business. I inherited Butch Owens from Eli, who was his set of eyes for 35, 36 years on the broadcast for Alabama. And Butch has been a friend of mine for a long time too, and kind enough to stick around. And he's the guy you always see if you see that video stream in our booth, our radio booth. He's a guy over my shoulder pointing to everything. I tell people all the time, if you hear me say something right, Butch pointed to it. If you hear me say something wrong, it's because I didn't trust Butch and I got it wrong. I probably messed it up because he would have pointed to the right.